Yeah, these specific cool blood orange vodka sodas are doing more to me than I thought.
Woo!
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's pretty punk rock.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to Press X to Podcast. It's the week of July 6, 2020, and this is episode 314. My name is Paul, I'm your host, and alongside me today I have people who can't really talk about the games they're playing. That's James and Rhett.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I can't talk about anything I'm playing, but, it'll be a good show regardless.
We can a little bit. We can a little bit, but
A little bit.
we can give a preview, you might say.
Mm.
Nothing,
Oh, yes, there's that.
nothing that could be considered final thoughts or review content, but a
there
preview.
you go.
That's totally cool.
I can't say a goddamn thing for a while. It's a very ironclad NDA.
I think you can say what you're playing, can you not?
Oh, yeah. I can tell everybody that I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima. And then I can tell you everything else on the 14th,
Yeah, later.
but not before.
I, on the other hand, can't even tell you what I'm playing
Mm.
until later. So,
Fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
So fuck, yeah.
Rhett, can you say what you've been playing?
Okay, well, yeah, I've been playing Paper Mario and the Origami King.
Okay.
And, yeah,
And?
as you said, I can't give any sort of final thoughts on the game, but preview thoughts, fantastic so far. A few
Awesome.
hours into it. What's really getting me about the game is the really intelligent ways they're using origami to fold toads into worldly objects. They'll turn a toad into like a flag on the end of a pole, and you'll have to figure out how to get to the top of it, a la classic Mario, or like an apple in a tree, just stuff like that. It's just like really smart, really fun to explore. The game is absolutely dripping with charm.
course.
As expected, of course, right? I'm not.
How's the writing?
So that was going to be my next thing. I'm not too familiar with the prior Paper Mario games. I've played them a little bit, but nothing like what I'm doing with this one. And what's really gotten me even more so than the origami is the humor. It's outstanding.
Awesome.
I'm finding myself, if I'm not grinning ear to ear like an idiot, I am like flat out laughing my ass off.
Awesome.
Again, I'm not too far into the game, but I can safely say this is the funniest Mario game I've ever played, hands down.
Sick.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into it more, and yeah, it's got a really interesting battle system as well, where you are basically on a platform, and there are a series of rings that surround you. And you're rotating the rings to line up your enemies, and then there's a few more elements are introduced, but it's basically kind of like a puzzle turn-based game, and yeah, it's fantastic. Definitely more in-depth than like the Thousand Year Door was, as far as lining up your enemies and the mechanics of the battles. Definitely more in-depth than the prior games were, but a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to getting into it more.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
'Cause that last game was such a disappointment.
That's what I've heard. Which one was the last one?
The Sticker Star one.
Yeah,
Right.
fuck Sticker Star. Fuck it
Yeah.
right off a cliff.
So
But,
why
like-
was it so disappointing?
You know those mechanics from stupid multiplayer games where you have consumable cards that you need to play to generate a vehicle or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the battle system.
Okay.
So, you'd get your high level stickers, and you'd do the JRPG thing where you save all your elixirs until the end of the game and never use them. And
Oh.
it sucked. It was terrible.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. But we're
Yeah,
on the
it's
other
kinda-
side of that.
Yeah.
No, man, the battle system in this one though is far improved compared to that. And again, I haven't played the prior game, but this sounds like it's miles ahead of the last one.
Mhm.
It's actually engaging. There's a bit of a tutorial to kind of slog through at the start of the game, but once they start like mixing things up and you actually have to think about what you're doing, it becomes really, really rewarding when you successfully rotate and slide your enemies into the right position to get that power increase that it gives you.
Cool.
Yeah. The review will be up on the 15th. The embargo is the 15th. There's a preview embargo of the 9th.
That's the day this podcast goes up.
Exactly. So today. But yes, on the 15th, the final thoughts will be posted.
Awesome. And I think that releases the same day as Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Yeah, gonna be a big day in July.
Which is bizarre. I can't think of a single game that, like a AAA game that came out in July in the past.
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like nothing comes to mind. Yeah, what else have you been playing, Rhett, since James and I could say nothing?
Well, the Red Dead 2 online streak continues.
Oh, God.
Your boy hit 293 days today. What did I do? I ate 3 camp stews, and I crafted 2 toxic moonshines. And I've now hit over 500 gold in the game, man. There's still nothing to do. I feel like 2020, my life has been completely on pause and in all aspects, you know. There's nothing going on in my real life, and there's nothing going on in Red Dead Redemption. Hopefully Rockstar updates this game soon. Also, Ironman VR. Yeah, a hell of a time. I had a hell of a time with that. The review's been posted, and I really stressed in it that, man, like, as a gamer, what more could you want? You actually feel like you're Iron Man. You're up in the air, you're zipping around, you know, you're honing in on your enemies, you're fucking raising your palms to shoot enemies, and it's a good time. But the game struggles from so many of the same things that pretty much all PSVR games nowadays struggle from. Visuals just aren't on point yet. You know, all games kind of suffer from this sort of like screen door effect where you're looking through this like grid almost if you stop and really look at what you're looking at. It's kind of like you're looking through a screen door, and this game, it's pretty bad with this one, but you know, obviously because you're moving around so fast, you're zipping around, it doesn't really matter. In the moments when you stop to look around, yeah, things kind of fall apart, but the game is so fast-paced that doesn't really matter. Of course, levels are lifeless, blocky. There's not a lot going on, you know, in any of the 12 missions that they'll put you through. There's a couple boss fights to go through, but generally you're fighting the same enemies over and over. And it's a big part of why the game feels so repetitive, and monotonous isn't the right word because I had fun with it all throughout, but I was certainly feeling the repetition by the end of it, no doubt about it. But yeah, if you have a PSVR, there's really no reason to not have this game. It's not full price. I think it's $40, $50. And yeah, again, what I was really stressing in my review is it's like your childhood fantasy come to life. You know, this is we're finally like getting to the time where all of these like ideas and fantasies that we had as kids with games that we wanted to play and things we wanted to do, they're all sort of starting to come to fruition. And Ironman VR is a really good example of that. I can't wait to see where this goes in the future, whether it be PSVR 2 or one of the, you know, more robust VR systems. I don't know, man. I think that there's been some serious groundwork laid here for you know, a potential AAA series. I don't think that the game is AAA yet, but it's fun as hell, and yeah, looking forward to the next one.
So does it feel like an actual fully fledged game, or does it feel like a VR game where there's, you know, it's kind of a tech demo in a way where there are some things you can do, but there's giant pieces missing from the experience?
Giant pieces missing, for sure. The in-between. Yeah. And I mentioned in the review that I actually really like the in-between moments where you're playing as Tony, where you're in his mansion and you're, you know, exploring the garage and you're upgrading the suit, or you're in his kitchen and you're eating a sandwich. That sort of stuff is really fun. Ooh. But, of course, you know, like so many other VR games, it suffers from like the point and click travel system, and like I couldn't really deal with the nausea of the smooth turning in this game. There are some where I can have smooth turning on, and there are some where I need to have the click turning, and this was one where I had to have the click turning on all throughout. So things like that, like it definitely struggles with, and you're reminded that you're playing a VR game, but yeah, in spite of all of that, at the end of the day, putting on the suit and zipping up into the sky and shooting a few robots is a lot of fun. And I look forward to, turning the game on periodically for the next however long until the next one comes out, really.
And if at any point you're allowed to have people over to your place,
Yeah.
You can strap them into the suit. And, that's it sounds like a pretty good VR showpiece to show what's possible.
Exactly. I think that like the superhero showpiece before was this Batman game that had been out. I think Return to Arkham or something like that. But that was really, you were mentioning like VR tech demos. That was really like a VR tech demo, a 45-minute experience that showed some really cool stuff and showed the potential of the system, but didn't really feel like a full-fledged game. And yes, to answer your previous question, I would say that Ironman VR does feel like a full-fledged game, but a full-fledged game in the sense of VR. I should say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I can replace Job Simulator as the thing that I have to show people when they want to see what VR is all about. If
Absolutely.
I can be like,
Now,
hey, be Iron Man instead, that's way better.
I still think that Resident Evil 7 is the benchmark VR game for the PSVR. Yeah, if you're going to show somebody VR, show them Resident Evil 7, but Iron Man is right there now. I really do think that.
Iron Man is good if you don't want to, like, literally scare the shit out of the people you're bringing over to your house.
Straight out. Like,
You
you could potentially give somebody a heart attack with RE7 in VR. It's serious. It's serious business. But, I mean, Iron Man, I don't know. The first time you take off and you're looking down at the ground and your stomach kind of drops and you're like, oh, shit.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Well, awesome. Iron Man VR. It's on PSVR. Is that studio, Camouflage, is that a Sony-owned company, or did Sony just pay them to make this?
I think that they had done something before. Ooh, what was it? It looks like a Sony company. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully there's a PSVR 2 in our future with less screen door effect, although that's still kind of a problem on just about any headset I've tried. I think way less so. The PSVR is the worst, but
yeah.
Yeah,
the technology is not there yet, but I've been saying it for the past year. Give it 9-10 years, and man, I think that everybody's going to be playing VR, and we're going to see some like seriously impressive stuff.
James, it's time for your super happy, upbeat, nothing is wrong in the world news section.
Now, to be fair, I looked for cool, upbeat news, but it's not been the best couple of weeks. Although, let's start it off with something cool. Crash Bandicoot 4 was announced, and they had a trailer with the goofy mascot with the guy that's clearly just in like a sports style mascot costume pretending to play on a PlayStation controller. That's pretty dope. And apparently everybody in the UK is like hard as rocks for Crash Bandicoot because the trilogy stayed in the top of their sales charts for like a fucking year. So obviously this is great news for a certain percentage of the earth.
I think it's pretty interesting / funny that this game seems to be a complete ripoff of the Ratchet and Clank that was just revealed.
Yeah.
Like story-wise. Or the other way around could be.
Does the timing of the reveal not seem curious? Why didn't
does.
they reveal this at the show a couple weeks ago?
Maybe they didn't want to take Ratchet's thunder.
Also, this is like Crash Bandicoot is technically under Activision's belt, and they don't have to do press events ever again if they don't want to.
Fair. Yeah, fair enough.
Well, Activision barely makes games at this point.
Yeah, so henceforth, they no longer need to have press conferences because it's just like, we're doing the thing we've been doing every year since 2003. What do you want to know? Fuck off. And then that's it. That's why they're the perfect company to merge with Blizzard to become the ultimate entity that doesn't give a shit about traditional media announcements.
Or players, really.
Or players, or human lives. Just, it's fine. They're good. They're made for each other. It's like that toxic couple where you're like, oh, she deserves better. And then you watch them for a while and you're like, no, actually she doesn't. They're kind of made for each other. That's Activision and Blizzard.
As long as they keep putting that dude in the Crash Bandicoot suit, though, I'm on board.
Yeah. We don't need to like come to their door with pitchforks or anything, so long as that guy or a guy like him still has a job.
Yeah. And I think it was either last year or the year before that they had that guy at E3, and heckling him from afar was some of the best fun ever. Because he had the megaphone on hand and would like yell insults back and forth. It was good.
Nice.
Good time.
Nice.
Really should have got some video of that, but
Yeah.
God damn it.
So in less awesome news than Crash being out there in the world, apparently sometime over the last 2 weeks, like at least 50 members of the Super Smash Bros. Fighting game community have been outed as straight up sexual criminals. Like a lot of words like grooming and pedophilia are being kicked around.
Jesus.
oh,
Like
great
people
God.
sleeping with underage people and like sending them the messages and being like, hey, I have Smash Clout, which is apparently a thing. Come get your
No.
fuck on and be scarred forever. And there's 50 fucking people. 50 fucking people to the point where Nintendo had to be like, yo, this is super messed up. Like, and then at the same time, the Evo, the big fight tournament, was canceled because the guy who runs it was like ousted from the community for being exactly this kind of a piece of shit.
Ugh.
So it's just like the entire fighting game community just kind of imploded all at once. And so many of the claims are from professional Smash Brothers players, which is completely insane to me. But yeah, like I was looking up threads on Reset Era, and they were just like, well, at least it's not 0. And then like you can like scroll down a little further. Oh fuck, it's also 0. He apparently raped a 50-year-old girl, and you're like fucking aghast. You're just like, all the words are slipping out of your mouth and turning to fucking boiling sludge, like burn a hole in the fucking ground. It's so disgusting.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. What the fuck is wrong with
God.
people?
And even worse than the fact that this is happening in one community is this was like basically buried as a news story underneath the mountain of other things of this ilk.
Like Ubisoft having a big changing of the guard in their editorial department, and like the VP and like all these people are just like, I can't work here anymore because they're under ongoing investigation for, the sex crimes.
Heading 1, the sex crimes.
Yeah, like the lead, what was it? The Chris Avallone, the lead writer for Dying Light 2, a bunch of Ubisoft people, just a fuckload of people all over. Like for like the last 2 weeks, like every day there was another headline. Guess what? This person also a scummy fuck bucket. And like, it even goes outside video games. Like there's like science fiction and fantasy authors who I've followed on Twitter and like thought were pretty cool guys. And then like 6 of them got outed all at once. It was just like, this guy's a big nasty groper. This guy's a nasty son of a bitch. This guy's a fucking asshole. It just person after person coming up with stories for like each individual author. I have 2 other books on my shelf, on my to read list that I'm going to push to the back and then maybe sell. Because I'm like, I didn't buy them new, so you never really got any money, but fuck you. Also,
Toss those bitches in a fireplace.
I can't burn books. It's a whole
Fair.
thing. But like,
Oh shit, I'm out of
but
ideas.
he needs to be in like society jail for like 6 months to a year for his scummy shit. Like
Yeah.
he didn't He's not as bad as a Smash Brothers player, apparently, but he's still kind of an asshole, and I, feel like I gotta fucking put him in the freezer for a while. And it's just everybody. It's just everybody all over the fucking map. On the flip side, though, it's great that we turn the light on, and the roaches are scattering, and they can't get out of the fridge anymore, so we just get to smash them with fucking hammers. You know?
Yeah, we all
Maybe
got our
eventually at
boots
some
on
point
now.
they
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
have no more
Truly.
roaches, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in theory.
In theory. So, we're going to alternate with another decent news. Okay?
Okay, go on.
Some anime shit is happening if you care about that.
Oh,
And you might be
Yeah.
like, who gives a fuck? On the other hand, one of them is Cyberpunk. So, bet you feel dumb for saying you don't care now, huh? Right?
I will
Yeah.
watch the
Yeah.
Cyberpunk one for sure. No doubt.
Yeah, I'd check that out. Is Keanu Reeves going to be in it?
Ooh.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I can never tell how busy he is at any given time.
That's
Some of the
fair.
projects he appears in, it's like, did you have nothing else to do?
It's true, man. If he's not making movies, he's going on dates with 70-year-old women. So
She is like 12 years younger than him.
really, man, she looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so does Keanu.
You say that now, but have you seen the first full trailer for Bill and Ted 3? Because that's somebody
Dude,
who does not look fantastic
yeah.
anymore.
You're very, very right about that. I actually just saw that like a week ago. And yeah, my heart did kind of break a little bit because Keanu was always one of those guys that like, is this guy really a vampire? He never ages. But now you see him in fucking Bill and Ted and holy shit, man.
Yeah, turns out, human
Holy
man after
shit.
all. We were all wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Father Time remains undefeated.
But did they make him look old because they wanted him to look older?
Oh, okay, fair
I
enough.
feel
Dude,
like
seriously,
I feel
he
like
looks
pretty young in John Wick and like
He
even
looks
the last
way-
one.
exactly. He looked way older in the Bill and Ted preview than he did in John Wick, or even in the fucking on the Cyberpunk reveal when he was live on stage only a couple of years ago, right?
That was last
I mean,
year.
not the reveal,
Yeah,
but
last
last year.
year.
Yeah, last year. So I think you're right, Paul. I think they aged him for that movie because he looks decrepit. Maybe not decrepit. But
He looks 55. That's what he looks. He looks like a 55-year-old man.
He looks old.
55-year-olds look like that.
He looks
It's
like the
decrepit.
Crypt Keeper.
just just compared to what he normally looks like, just compared.
He could like,
I lo-
if him and I were in an elevator together and he like sneezed and like jerked his elbow, I'd probably be on the ground with a broken nose. Like I'm just saying he's fine.
because he's that much of a man.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because you've seen the videos of him training for John Wick where he's
Oh
like
yeah,
focus fire, like running back and forth, like perfect trigger discipline, like proper posture with the weapon, you know what I mean? Like the man.
In an alternate reality, he is a fucking military specialist somewhere, man. He's a fucking sniper. He's a marksman, something.
I don't think that's an alternate reality.
It's yeah.
That's probably this reality as well as his movie stardom. My real question is, how is it possible that like Lawrence Fishburne is going to be able to keep up with him in The Matrix 4?
He won't. You want to talk about decrepit?
Oh, that movie's going to be the circus tent burning down with all the performers still inside. It's going to be bad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
of course
yeah.
it is.
I
I'm
can't
still going to watch
fucking
it.
Believe that they're making Matrix 4.
Well,
But
the
where do they
Wachowski
even go with that?
twins ran out of fucking money. That's why.
True.
What do you mean?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, but man, it's gonna be fucked. And yeah, with the way 3 ended, did anybody understand what the fuck was going on in 3?
They were salting the earth so there could never be a sequel, and then, haha, psych, motherfuckers, there's gonna be a sequel.
That's exactly my point. It's fucked.
Yeah, capitalism strikes again, Rhett. That's all. It's fine. Okay. So, garbage news?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
The
get some
Last
garbage.
of Us 2, one of the voice actors got a like dream board worth of death threats that she posted on Twitter being like, hey, guess what? People are still complete scum, and it sucks. Although I will say, silver lining on Twitter, one cool thing about people being all up in their guts about Abby and shit like that, all the Abby hate has created this awesome backlash of people posting their favorite very real, very buff women, and also cool fictional buff women, because people are like, oh, there's no way you could get that buff in 5 years in a post-apocalypse environment. And people are like, hey, look, it's me, the person, the poster in these photos, 5 years apart. See the second one? I'm buff as fuck. Checkmate, sir.
But I mean,
Yeah,
they're not in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, but like, it's not that hard, man. It's really not.
Well, I mean, to put on size like that, you got to eat big, and I don't think any of these people are eating big.
Rhett,
in
counterpoint.
a post-apocalyptic world.
Rhett. One of the advantages of a significant portion of the population being turned into sort of people who don't really eat is that there's a lot of goddamn food left. Scarcity of resources is not one of the problems you would have in an environment like that.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
And also, she's not really that jacked.
Oh,
Like,
she's fucking jacked, dude. I just saw her
she's
without her
huge.
shirt on today. She is absolutely shredded. She looks like fucking Dave Bautista.
Yeah,
Yeah, like she is fucking shredded.
I've seen the photos, man. It's not that crazy.
Well, no, it's not. By no means is it crazy. Like there are plenty of female bodybuilders that look bigger than Abby, more toned, more ripped than Abby. But yeah, I kind of see the I kind of understand people's perspectives coming from the circumstances of the situation, but I don't know.
Like
Her dad was a big boy.
Yeah, in the post-apocalypse, she's like 99.5th percentile of how huge you could possibly get.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's what people are saying. Like it would have been more believable if she was like 80th percentile of how big you could possibly get.
She looks like the Hulk.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it because I think the character is well acted and well written. So
Oh, dude, it's extremely well acted. Oh man. Yeah,
and
as everybody is in that game.
And by all accounts, all over Twitter and all over the world, Laura Bailey is a saint. So, fuck anybody who is giving her a hard time for doing an amazing job.
Truly, and if you were sending an actress death threats for doing her job, like, man, like give your fucking head a shake. Think about it.
Should just put these people on a list, and then it's just like, you can't buy games anymore, fucko.
Yeah, seriously.
You're no longer part of the conversation. You've been ousted. We're putting it on the ice flow. It's a one-way trip. It's fine. Other consumers exist. I'm sure the sales of The Last of Us Part 2 kind of put a lot of these arguments about the validity of the game to bed anyway.
Yeah, it was the screeching minority for sure that were upset about this. 'Cause it sold like 4 million copies in the first week, didn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
people were like all these YouTubers are online being like, this is garbage, I'm canceling my pre-order. It's like, yeah, they beat out Spider-Man in terms of pre-order sales.
Oh yeah.
Eat crow, fuckos.
Yeah. Straight up.
Like the only thing it's probably not going to beat is Uncharted 4 because it sold an unbelievable number of copies.
Yeah.
But,
Also, I mean, as far as 2020 goes, Animal Crossing might edge it out just because that game was released at the exact right time.
Dude, yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I meant PS4 exclusives, but
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I think PS4 exclusives, as far as those go, Last of Us 2 is probably going to take it for 2020.
totally.
Unless Ghost of Tsushima just like rolls over it like an actual tsunami and is like, ha ha ha.
I could imagine a lot of people saying that Tsushima is more fun to play, but I can't imagine Tsushima is better acted, better written.
I'm really curious to see how the two stack up. Personally, I'm really excited to see how they go head to head in terms of sales, because I don't know. It's not like there's sports. Let's watch games fight it out in the marketplace of money.
Like my gut says that the user score will be a lot higher for Tsushima.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I'm willing to bet that review score will be substantially lower.
Fair.
Critically.
Fair.
We'll see. James
Okay.
knows the answer, but I don't know.
I do know the answer, and you'll all find out later. For now, let's talk about Amazon.
Do we have to?
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So they have a game. I didn't even include the name in the Google Doc. I almost forgot it. It's called Crucible. If you haven't heard of it, that's cool. Apparently nobody has. They had a full release, like a proper 1.0 release, like a month ago. And then a week ago, they were like, you know what? Let's take it back to a closed beta. So it's like a butterfly, but in reverse. Like it went into the cocoon to become a caterpillar. Because apparently that's how few people played the game and how many problems they think they have.
Jesus Christ. Amazon's making games?
Yeah, see that reaction right there, Rhett? That's kind of part of the problem.
Dude, literally, yeah, you said it. Like, I had not heard about this until just this moment.
It's not even the first one.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they had one called Breakaway, which was just as much of a fucking fetid turd floating in the bowl. Like...
just bobbing up and down.
Yeah, they just have more money than sense and no idea how to market this shit. They're like years late to every trend and just twisting in the fucking wind. So yeah, it's going back to closed beta, and they're like, we're gonna rework it. I'm like, unless you make it not a team-based shooter, it doesn't have a hope in hell, guys. It's not gonna pan out.
There's enough of those, and they're pretty good. So
yeah, you gotta do something crazy to carve out that real estate, and I can't remember what the conceit of Crucible is, so that's not good.
That's an awful name.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Also, isn't that the name of the multiplayer mode in Destiny 2?
Destiny. Oh, yeah.
You fucking bet it is.
Absolutely.
Come on, guys. Do better.
I hope it goes through closed beta, and then it releases a second time full, and then they just cancel it.
Please let it be.
Savage. But yes, I hope so too.
That sounds amazing.
So, and then let's go to some maybe bad news. NBA 2K21 is being listed, or rumors are it's being listed, or it's floating around the Etherverse, that it's going to be like $70 American or something? Like some crazy amount of money, US.
Guys,
And
this is
people
not
are
a
wondering-
surprise.
Yeah.
No, this was done before. The last generation, or this current generation of games, when they first launched, they were $10 more for the next gen version.
Yeah, on the Xbox One side, I think.
Xbox One, yeah, and I'm not 100% certain about the PS3, but 100% the Xbox One, those games like NBA 2K 15 or whatever it was, 14, that, like, I remember that clearly being $10 more than the 360 version.
So, but listen, mainstream games have not had a price hike in 15 or so years.
True.
So with inflation, games are substantially cheaper than they used to be. But games are also infinitely more expensive to make. So it's not a surprise that prices are going to go up. Like, I could see prices even going up higher than that over the course of this generation to 80 American.
I always like to ask the question, what would you guys pay for 1 solid hour of gaming? $5? $2?
1 hour.
It's tough to say.
1 hour, yeah. What would you pay for 1 hour? I always like to... I think, to me, for one really good hour of gaming, for, like, say, a year ago, if I could have played The Last of Us 2 for 1 hour, I would have paid $5, you know? So I kind of always use that as the measuring stick for whenever I buy a game and when I'm looking at how much time I get out of it. If I pay, you know, $60 for a game, but I get 30 hours out of it, or even 15, 20 hours out of it, man, I feel like I've definitely gotten my money's worth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, am I happy about paying $80 for a game, or in a lot of cases 90, because I usually go for the deluxe editions? No, but it's rare that I don't feel like I get my money's worth. I'm not making uninformed decisions and buying games these days that I'm not sure if I'm gonna like. So yeah, I don't feel like I don't get my money's worth very often.
So
That's
Sean
fair.
Layden was out, the former head honcho of PlayStation was out there recently saying, of course, game prices are going to go up. It costs like $500 million to make an amazing AAA game like God of War or something. So prices have to go up, or games have to get shorter and easier to make. It's one or the other, or both probably. So his prediction was that over the course of the next generation, we're going to see more smaller games, like 8 to 10 hours and that kind of length, which sounds unbelievable to me because, I could finish games instead of the Assassin's Creed Odyssey problem where the game is 6,000 hours long for no reason. And it's just, like, fuck that game.
Dude, that game was just long to like keep employees busy. I
We
swear.
modeled all of Greece. Why? Why did you do
Yeah.
that?
What was the point?
Well, we had to fill it up with NPCs and icons.
Yeah.
And fill it up they did.
Yeah. We projected that we were going to be coming in dangerously under our budget, so
Somehow.
We employed all 38 Ubisoft studios to make this game.
oh yeah. Singapore and London and Trinidad. Yeah, they were all there.
I don't know if you guys remember the opening of that game, but the title card like crawl where it was flashing up the emblems of all the studios that worked on this thing was insane. It was like 4.5, 5 minutes long of Ubisoft Singapore, Ubisoft London, Ubisoft Montreal, Ubisoft Paris, Ubisoft Red Zone or something.
Yep.
Oh God, it was
Ubisoft Auto Mall.
yeah.
I
I'd buy
remember
a car
even
there.
back with AC 2 and 3 credit sequences being out of control. So I can only imagine what they're like now with
Yeah.
the games being 5 times the size of any of the previous ACs. Like, isn't Odyssey, weren't people like it's one of the biggest games ever made?
Anyways, suffice to say that I think paying more for next gen games is going to be reality.
Yes, absolutely. At least maybe for the first little bit, once the current systems are phased out, maybe we'll see games start to revert to the 79. I don't know. It's tough to imagine though games being less than $90 for the basic version next gen.
Canadian, yeah.
Canadian.
Um,
Yeah, that's important.
Canadian. Let me clarify that. This is Canadian. All you US listeners, I should say. Yes, Canadian dollars.
Okay. I think the only thing we have left to talk about is just a little footnote. Does anybody remember the Crossfire X trailer from like, I don't know which E3 it was. I think it might have been last year. I think it was last year. It was called Crossfire X. It was like this big goofy military shooter thing that failed somehow to inform us of like anything of the gameplay, even though it's military. So like, what else could it possibly fucking be?
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's like,
I very
it-
specifically remember this trailer because it's the one where I started tweeting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically it's this FPS that's like Asia's answer to Call of Duty. Like it's one of the biggest goddamn first person shooters on earth that nobody has heard of unless you like live, I don't know, elsewhere in the world. And it's still out there doing shit. I think it just got like an open beta on Xbox One, like either like this week or the next. And it just blew me away. There was like, oh yeah, we haven't heard anything about this. It hasn't showed up in the news cycles at all. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody gives a shit about Crossfire X. Like there's no outlet in North America or even like Europe that's like mentioned this as far as I can tell in a full calendar year. And then it just pops up. It was like, hey, this is getting a beta. people who want to play this, you can totally do that. And I'm like, does anybody want to play this? Like, this is one of the games I'm really curious to see what the sales numbers are like when it comes out in North America, because who the fuck is going to be buying this game?
Exactly. I was just gonna say, my guess, crash and burn. Call of Duty is more popular than it's been in the past 10 years, and I don't think that there's room for Crossfire X in North America.
You know, you say that, but like World of Tanks, which is one of these games that like I've never met a World of Tanks player in my life, but apparently like an eighth of the world at one point played this game.
That's fucking
So like
bizarre.
it's like you're on a bus or a train or something, statistically speaking, 6 or 7 of those people are playing World of Tanks right that very second. But like I don't even know what the fuck it looks like in game. Like I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at some images right now, and I gotta be honest, like it looks no different than Call of Duty. Wonder what it's like. Wonder what the shooting's like. I'll try it out. I'll test it out.
I don't know, guys. Crossfire X just has free to play screamed all over it. Just the name alone.
Sounds like a cell phone game.
Yeah. It probably is in some regions.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like timers and tapping and.
Ugh.
Now I'm also seeing that this is Xbox One only.
Really?
Yeah, so that is gonna hurt the game. Assuredly, that'll hurt the game.
I mean, is it really hurting them at all to bring it out in the West? If it's that successful, back east?
Well, I mean, I should say, it'll hurt the projections. It'll hurt the maybe it'll hurt what they anticipate.
Is this a 10-cent joint? How much?
I'm gonna guess so.
What am I seeing here?
They probably own like 60 to 70% of this thing. They own everything now.
Yeah. They own 40% of everything. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah. Just enough to influence.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, 10 cent. China 10 cent. Yeah.
That's a fun game when you're going to the movie theaters and you're watching trailers. Count how many times 10 cent shows up in the like credits right at the beginning of every trailer. It's a lot. It's a lot more than you'd expect. It's crazy. Once you start seeing it, it's everywhere.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it is the world's most played video game by player count. A total of 1 billion users in 80 countries worldwide.
Holy shit.
The world's top grossing online game as of 2014, and went on to become one of the highest grossing video games of all time, having grossed over 10 billion in lifetime as of 2018.
Isn't that completely fucking insane?
Dude, I've never heard of this. That's fucking crazy. I'm going to have to check this out now.
Yeah.
I bet it is just fine. I bet that's what it is. I bet it's a perfectly acceptable game.
Completely serviceable.
Yeah.
Okay, but it does feature sheep mode. No teams. Players compete to get the most points in the end by picking up sheep, which generate points every so often.
What?
Sheep is... Yeah. It's sheep mode. Zombie mode, hero mode, escape mode, mutation mode. Man, it looks like there's a lot to this game as well. I mean, it's been around for quite a while. It's just, man.
Yeah, since like 2007 is when it first came out in Korea.
This is just so wild to me. Yeah, never heard of this,
man.
and it's the biggest game ever.
Well, speaking of the biggest games ever, since James and I couldn't talk about the games we're playing, we thought maybe we'd talk about some of the games that we're really amped up on for the back half of 2020. And so each of us have come up with 3 games that we're excited about for the back half of 2020, and we'd like to talk about them. And Rhett, I'm going to need you to go first because I have no idea what your first pick is.
Dude, Retromania Wrestling. So, listeners of the show may have surmised that I am a big fan of professional wrestling. I have been since I was 5 years old. And as bad as the product has become over the past decade, man, it's just something that like I can't stop watching. It's like a bad habit, you know? It's a guilty pleasure. Like, it's just something that I've kind of always taken comfort in. And it pains me that wrestling games over the past like 5 years especially have gotten such a fucking bad reputation. Like, and to be fair, like they have been terrible. Like the 2K20, WWE 2K20 was fucking awful, like embarrassing. Uh, so there's this game coming out called Retromania Wrestling, and it is the official sequel to the 1991 WrestleFest.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
yeah, so
Whoa.
there's a lot of people out there that know WrestleFest, that have played that game, that it's been a part of their childhood or their teenage years, and they love it. And this game didn't actually start out as the official sequel, but during development, it became the official sequel. So it's going to feature a roster of like, I think it's like 15 guys at launch, all real world wrestlers. The Road Warriors from WrestleFest are going to be returning as the final boss in Retromania Wrestling. So there's going to be like a nice little throwback there. And I'm really looking forward to it, man. Call me a sucker for the classics, but man, I really like the look of this and style and everything, what they're going for. They've been building this game for years. Like I've been kind of following it for, man, it's probably been like 4 years, I want to say now, that this has been in development, and it's been a part of Patreon or
Oh my
Kickstarter, I should
god.
say.
It's
Yeah, like
it looks
it's
so quaint. It's fucking awesome.
right. Yeah, like I'm super excited about this. I feel like it's just gonna take me right back to my childhood, but it's gonna be so much better than how my childhood games played. You know, I think it's gonna be a lot smoother. The entrances look fun. There's weapons. There are different match types, and then of course they've said that they would love to support the game further as long as there's enough support from the fan base. You know, as long as they're making enough money on it, they'd love to add create a wrestler and new modes and new matches and all sorts of things. So Retromania Wrestling. If you like wrestling, if you've been a fan of wrestling at all in your life, please pay attention to this game and support it, because these guys have been working hard on it for a long time, and I think that this is going to be really fun.
Did you ever get down with Fire Pro Wrestling?
Dude, I love Fire Pro, and I got so into the most recent one. By far the most in-depth wrestling games that there have ever been. I've always, and even as a child, like I've always felt that what has been missing from wrestling games is the ability to sell what your opponent is doing to you, right? I mean, obviously wrestling is more so than, punching somebody, it's selling the punch. And wrestling games have never allowed the player to, lay down and play to the crowd and sell the damage that's being done to them. And Fire Pro is the only game, to my knowledge, that actually allows you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the sort of depth that game brings, that's just one of the things that Fire Pro does. Even with its very primitive style, it surpasses 2K20, for example, by
easily.
miles. By miles in the depth and the technicality of what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah, I love Fire Pro.
Well, this Retromania looks pretty cool, mostly because it's got a dedicated taunt button.
Yes.
You gotta have it.
Absolutely. What's wrestling without a taunt button?
It's nothing, man. That's the answer. It's nothing. James, what do you got?
First on my list is actually just Paper Mario: The Origami King, because the writing in these games I've always found really strong, and they've been straying farther and farther from traditional RPGs, and I really appreciate the wacky shit that they do with every installment, even if it goes horribly wrong sometimes, like fucking Sticker Star, which was just like, basically Sticker Star wasn't even really an RPG, it was like a puzzle game, but one where you just had to like blow it in the boss battles over and over again until you figured out what the puzzle was, and it was just really goddamn frustrating and time consuming. It wasn't really for me, but this one looks like a nice, tight, tidy, delicious fucking remedy for anybody feeling the blues from the previous version.
Agreed.
Fuck yeah.
Question for where you guys stand on the debate about whether a Toad's mushroom is its head or a hat?
Oh,
I say it's a head because otherwise they've all just made the decision to look exactly the same. I think it's one of those things where it like grows like hair, and that like if it like gets damaged or they like change the color of it or it gets chopped off, they're like, oh fuck, but then it just comes back like it's fine. But like I think it's definitely part of their head.
do you think that if you ate one of those mushrooms, you would trip the fuck out?
Or die.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Right.
probably just die. But like,
Right.
because they're the original Mario Brothers mushroom, I'm pretty sure is modeled after something extremely poisonous.
Right? The face on it tells all.
Yeah,
And I've always been curious what would happen if you took a bite out of Toad.
a lot of screaming is my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that Toad voice.
Lot more screaming than
Yeah.
you're.
I'm pretty
comfortable
sure I've seen Toad wearing a hat.
Yeah.
Like Captain Toad wears a hat, does he not?
Yeah, no, without a doubt, the mushroom is like an afro. It's his afro. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
The first game on my list is Cyberpunk.
Ooh,
That's it.
you're looking
I don't-
forward to this? Why?
Yeah, man. Really? Do I even need to explain?
Yes.
Well, imagine there was a game made by the developers of one of the best Western RPGs ever made, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt,
Oh.
set in the future when the corporations have taken over and you can become a cyber whatever you want with as many sliders as you can handle and then some.
Mm-hmm. Can I
And-
increase the size of my dong as big as I want?
Yeah, you can.
Wow.
There are dong selections in
Shit.
Cyberpunk 2077. And with like a sort of almost Fallout style first person RPG tilt to things and what looks to be some really, really strong writing. Just like in The Witcher 3. Looks amazing. I can't wait to play it. Sad it's been delayed, but hoping it is absolutely perfectly polished when it comes out.
Yeah, looking forward to November 2022.
2022, huh?
No.
All right.
It'll be this year.
It better be Rhett.
Yeah.
If they delay it again, I'm holding you accountable.
No, man, James called it last time. They delayed it to coincide with the release of the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think you mean the Xbox 2.
Or sorry, Xbox Series X. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. I think they
It
should have
has to
just
come
called
out in
it Xbox 2.
2020 because the original Cyberpunk was set in 2020.
I do like that they retained all the stat names and stuff from that original pen and paper RPG. Like one of the stats you can put points into is cool.
Mm,
Your cool factor. I'm going with a cool build.
right.
I'm gonna put all my points in cool. Can't fight, but I look good doing it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll
And-
probably do that.
Yeah, man.
Put some points. Yeah, cool.
It also
See-
looks incredible in all the trailers that they've been putting out recently. Like graphically, it looks a step way above most other open world games anyway.
I really hope that enemies are not as spongy as. I mean, they don't look very spongy, but damage points that appear when you're killing enemies and things kind of scare me. That kind of turned me off from Borderlands, and I hope that
Yep.
doesn't kind of turn me off from this one.
Well, they didn't really have that problem in The Witcher 3, for example. Like
Yeah,
that wasn't
yeah.
really an issue in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, in The Witcher, they just kind of made everything super deadly, both to you and from you,
Yeah.
especially if you use the oils and things correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, coat your blade in the sacred oils, and then you can murder the holy fuck out of whatever you touch with your sword.
And then hang its head off of Roach's saddle.
Yeah.
For the next 100 hours.
People
what
will
else
be
you
all
got?
Impressed. Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. I got PGA Tour 2K21. And I know our listeners may be a little turned off by that, but listen. Golf games have been so fucking bad since I don't know, 2015. When did Rory McIlroy's PGA Tour come out? 2015, 16. It was a complete joke. EA, being they, thought that the answer to the Tiger Woods slump was introducing like battleships busting through the courses and fucking
What?
you gotta like hit your ball. Man, complete garbage. The game was complete fucking garbage. So there hasn't been a golf game since. And PGA Tour 2K21, I really hope that 2K brings the same level of authenticity and precision to golf that they do with their basketball series. I think that this game is in the right hands. And yeah, I've wanted a golf game for fucking years, and there's been nothing. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. There has been the Golf Club, which I guess this game or PGA Tour 2K21 is like Golf Club 2 essentially. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to then that developer, kind of coming under the umbrella of 2K and being able to learn from them, which, I think we can all agree that 2K have been the, sports game developers for the past decade. As much as EA would like to make that claim, 2K consistently puts out better sports games than they do. So,
Well, I can't wait to grind out 1,500 holes of golf to get that nice purple 3-wood.
yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Yeah, PGA Tour 2K21. I was going to make a joke, but no, I should not make that joke.
Okay. James, what do you got up next?
Next is something that I've been waiting for a couple of years, and it keeps getting delayed for release in the West, but it's finally coming out at some point this year. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that second last word right. It doesn't fucking matter. This is from Vanillaware, which are the same guys that did Odin Sphere.
Ooh.
And that crazy Dragon's Crown game.
Yeah.
With the super buff Amazon and the big-titted sorcerer and the fucking
Nice.
the barbarian with the breadbasket like a fucking boulder. Like it's the most anyways, they're making a mech game that takes place in a high school.
Oh,
So
Wow.
I'm jazzed as fuck about this. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, that's sweet. In high school, like that's fucking sweet.
Yeah, it's a high school mech anime made by the people who did Odin Sphere. I don't really feel like I need to say a lot else. It's gonna be so fucking good. It came out in Japan a little while ago, but they've been pushing back the Western release for some time. But I think this September, it's finally coming out, and I'm proper fucking chuffed. It's gonna be so good.
and that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
sounds like one of those that should get the Fry shut up and take my money meme.
Yeah, I didn't even really know what the gameplay's like.
It doesn't matter.
I just
Yeah,
know it's got
doesn't
a
matter. Yeah.
fuck ton of main characters, and they all fit various goofy anime stereotypes, and I'm like so 1,000% here for this shit. Yeah, that's where I'm at. 13
Amazing.
Sentinels, Aegis Rim. It's gonna be so good.
The second game on my list, because somebody had to put down the AAA games, is Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Ooh.
Because, well, that first game was really awesome, and
So good.
just love swinging around on the webs and doing some Arkham cool combat stuff. And
Yeah.
I thought that the hooks they put in for the Miles Morales story in the first game were pretty interesting. I won't spoil it if you haven't played that, but there's some good stuff in there. So curious to see where they take the character, and curious which like set of Miles Morales powers they end up giving this character, because it could be substantially different from the Peter Parker Spider-Man. And yeah, even if it's a bit of a shorter experience, I think that's probably the thing that you got to pick up with your PS5 when you get it.
Absolutely. And honestly, in the age of, cyberpunks and all these games that require 50, 60 hours, man, give me a 10 or 15 hour experience to mix things up. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Rhett, what's your third game, buddy?
Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, how could it not be on the list? I am sure at the end of the year, Ghost of Tsushima will be in the discussion for Game of the Year. Whether or not it'll actually win, we'll see. But, I mean, if you're a gamer and you're not, looking out for Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know why you play games. This is it.
It had me the minute that the leaves started floating around.
Yeah,
I have to play this, and I'm probably going to play it way more than it needs to be played.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one, exactly. Like, this is one that I would have no problem going for the 100%, going for the platinum trophy on, I want to see everything this game has to offer. I hope it plays well enough, or as well enough that I remain interested and I want to keep going, but I don't think that there's going to be any issues. From everything that they've shown off, the game looks like everything that I like about these kinds of games, It looks like it takes all of the best parts of like early Assassin's Creed and amplifies them times a million. The visual style is amazing. Like you were saying, those leaves floating by, the wind, like what game has good looking wind? It's fucking crazy. Like it's just insane to think. We're couple weeks away, about 10 days away from this, and I can't wait. I want to fucking Eric Cartman myself and freeze myself and wake up on release day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like pulling some elements of those older Assassin's Creed games, but also a lot of elements of Breath of the Wild.
Many different games, yeah. I think about Assassin's Creed because I really think that a lot of the combat looks similar to that, but of course, like you were saying, there's Breath of the Wild and, lots of different things in there.
Yeah, hopefully it's just pulling all the best elements out of those things, and it will be a really nice showpiece for this generation.
Absolutely. And I will be playing it on Japanese language settings.
Oh,
right? I think that it's cool that they offer a few different language settings, but I heard some of the English, and much respect to the English actors, but how could you not play this game in Japanese? Oh, it's going to be so intense.
Don't forget about Kurosawa mode. That's another thing you can mess around with when it comes out. If you're into that sort of thing, if you want to play a game of black and white, this game is going to give you the ability to do that.
I like how James is just like kind of sitting in the background, he's kind of like peeking his head above the ledge and like just chomping at the bit
to keep from saying all the things. That's what I'm doing, all right?
I feel for you.
Okay.
Well, James, let's let you take your fist out of your mouth for a hot second so you can talk about your third game.
My third game is kind of an ifsy sort of thing because really what I'm waiting for is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, but they haven't actually given that a release date. It's supposed to be 2020, but it's sounding pretty nebulous.
Yeah.
But its previous entry was one of the more celebrated, infamous, long-lasting, cool-ass vampire RPGs of the medium. And by all accounts, the sequel looks like a complete fucking romp. And I'm super excited to see what sort of crazy shit you can get into and what kind of like vampire powers you can fuck around with and what sort of vampire you can be and what sort of trouble you can get into. Can you take over a city? Can you have slaves? Can you do a big murder if you want whenever you feel like? Can you fly? Can you turn invisible? What sort of crazy shit can you do? So just all sorts of things that I feel like Bloodlines 2 is just going to throw out in the world. Cyberpunk looks amazing. The one thing that this game has that Cyberpunk doesn't is the ability to bite a person's throat and drink their blood and gain their life essence and their power. I'm not saying it's going to be better. I'm saying it has this thing. However, if, God forbid, it doesn't come out in 2020 for some reason, Star Wars Squadrons, fly around in an X-Wing, you shoot the lasers, blow up the Death Star. The gameplay preview videos that they showed off have you with the ability to like do that thing they talk about in the the combat scenes in the movies all the time. You're like, divert all power to the deflector shields. You could do that shit in the game. You could just press a button or whatever, or like work the controls and then divert your shield power to the back. So if like some asshole is trying to like snipe you from behind, you're like, too bad. My shields are there, so I will not die as fast, but I will probably still die because it's probably going to be from DICE. I don't remember. It's the same guys, right? The same guys do all the other Star Wars games for EA.
Yeah.
Or no,
So your
it's Motive. That new studio,
Okay.
isn't it?
I don't know. All I'm saying is that your ships are going to be like tissue paper with engines attached to the back and guns in the front. And then some like errant laser is going to catch you. It's like, oh, nope, you're in half, you're on fire, you're dust. It's fine. It's fine.
Motive Studios.
Motive,
That's who's
yeah.
making it.
Okay. Cool, I guess.
But hey, I did hear one of the devs talking in an interview and saying that with that altering power and moving power around the ship kind of thing, you can do some really cool things like power slide your X-Wing in space by diverting power away from the engines and then towards other various things in a perfectly harmonious symphony of control working.
Mm.
Yeah.
Space power slide.
Yeah, man. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super down for that.
I can't wait for somebody to do that to me online the second day the game is out and I'm no longer capable of playing with anyone because they're too good. You know?
Naturally.
Yeah, Star Wars Squadrons is one I want to play for like 12 to 15 hours. Play through the single player campaign, do multiplayer for a week. Everybody gets better than me. I quit forever. That's the roadmap for Star Wars Squadrons.
That's the thing, man. So the last game on my list is not necessarily a game I'm looking forward to because we know nothing about it. And that's Halo Infinite. We know that Master Chief is presumably in it. And we know that that's about it. That's all we know. But obviously the Halo franchise has been Microsoft's baby for years and years and years. And they've kind of let it fall to ruin a little bit in the last few years. So hopefully this is going to be their grand, glorious return to form and be all kinds of Covenant and cool battle rifles and pistol sniping and awesomeness and gorgeous Xbox Series X graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully it's going to be a real showpiece that's going to push people towards wanting to pick up that console or not, because it'll be on Xbox One as well. Yeah, Halo Infinite. Want to see what that is. What is it? What is it? Is it a Halo game? Is it like a Destiny game? I don't know. Infinite makes me think like it's going to be an experience, a world, you know?
Yeah.
Games as a service.
Yeah. I hope it's not, but I think it might be.
Mm.
They've been working on it for long enough that it was probably conceived in a world where that seemed like a good idea still.
Yeah, maybe they were just like, what if we just made a game that was very large? That is what the gamers like. Let us make it very big.
Let it seem to be infinite. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We're going to find out on July 23rd. Maybe.
They're doing the reveal, or?
That's when the Xbox Games preview showcase thing is supposedly going to be, and I'm guessing that'll be like what PlayStation recently did.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll give us a date and a price and all that jazz. That'd be great.
Yeah, you got to figure Infinite will probably headline.
It's got to.
Right. Yeah.
Or it'll be, a 112-second trailer where 5 of that is Master Chief reloading a battle rifle.
Yep.
And that's the gameplay.
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of have a bad feeling about this game because it's been in the hopper for a long, long time. And the fact they've said nothing about it makes me a little bit worried.
Yeah, they should be like shouting about this fucking thing from the mountaintops. We're like, yo guys, Halo Infinite's coming. It's gonna blow your dick off. It's gonna be so good. And then you'll grow a newer, better dick from the stump of the old one. That's how good Halo Infinite's gonna be.
I mean, hopefully, because Halo's fucking dead and buried, yo. Halo, Who
They
cares
really
about Halo?
they really fucked up when they released Master Chief Collection,
Yeah.
and it didn't work right for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that
And-
also gives me pause about the potential for this game working or being good.
Didn't 5 do really poorly in reviews?
I hated 5.
Yeah. Most people
I thought
did,
it was awful.
Yeah.
Just not Halo. It was an
Yeah.
all right shooter, but it was not a Halo game to me.
Mm,
But anyway, we'll see about all of these things. I'm way more excited about Retromania Wrestling and 13
yeah.
Sentinels Aegis Rim than I was before because I didn't know about them, but they sound amazing.
Dude, straight up, this Aegis Rim game, I'm all about it now.
Can't wait to see some anime mech
Yeah.
action
Yeah.
/
Or
high
just
school because
Yeah,
of
right.
course.
2D hand-drawn mechs that take up most of the screen because that's how those games work.
Yeah, man.
Like bosses in Vanillaware games are like 50% of the entire screen real estate, and you're like, I guess I gotta fight this somehow.
Yeah.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Press X to Podcast. It's been episode 314. Episode Pi? The Pi episode? We didn't talk about Pi, but this was the Pi episode, July 6th,
Pi
2020. We'll be back in a couple weeks, but keep your earballs tuned in to this channel, wherever you're listening or watching this, because we'll probably have some stuff to say about some games that we can't talk about in the near future. So pay attention for that. And Rhett, why don't you take us to the close? Why don't you read us out here?
Yeah, me this time.
Yeah, man.
Yep, you.
All right. Well,
I'm
I
giving
mean,
you the
it's-
reins.
Hell yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's been a fun episode. Hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. We're going to be seeing you in a couple weeks for episode 3.15. I'm sure that we'll be bringing you mind-blowing news, incredible updates on games we've been playing, and maybe we'll bring you some surprises that you aren't expecting.
I love surprises.
Us here at COG Connected are full of surprises. We love surprises,
Mhm.
and we may have one for you in the coming weeks. But don't hold your breath.
Because he'll die. That's all.